Hello everyone, this is DJ and welcome to another episode of RC Retirement. Today I have an interview with a person you have heard before. This is a follow-up interview with a medical retiree. We've spoken with her before and I wanted to follow up with her and find out how things had fared with her since we had last spoken. So we're going to chat with her for a little while, or rather it's not like it's more than one person. Today it's just me talking to her rather than a group of people. So we've got a nice little follow-up with Valerie, and we'll see how things are going with her. Just as a catch-up, she was a medical retiree and was having issues with combat-related special compensation and also having issues with the offset between military pay and VA compensation. So there were a lot of issues there. And I'll put a link to the original interview in the show notes if you would like to listen to that first. And I recommend doing so. It'll be some good context. But if you don't, I'm sure you'll get a good bit of that in the beginning of this catch-up interview. So let's dive in. I'll be back.
Hey everyone, just a quick note before this video begins. There are some spots where the audio is garbled. So I have put in some subtitles so that you can understand what's being said. For those of you listening in the podcast version, I'm afraid you won't have that little supplement, so I apologize for that. I will recommend that you go on over to YouTube and take a look at the video version for that little supplement so that you can understand what's being said. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you can make out from context and be able to understand it just fine. Other than that, enjoy the video. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, this is DJ. I'm joined today by Valerie, who was kind enough to speak with me 2 years ago about an issue she had regarding the lack of an offset between her military retirement and VA compensation. I had dubbed that problem Operation Iceberg at the time because I figured that there were many people like her and we were only seeing some of the problems. At the time, I had suggested that she apply for combat-related special compensation. In fact, it turned out she was in the middle of doing that, and we discussed that for some length. Valerie has been kind enough to join me again, this time in a video setting, and discuss what's happened since then so that we can get an idea of how things have progressed. So Valerie, welcome back.
Thank you.
If you would, it's been a while since we last spoke. Would you please give the audience a recap of your history, both personal and military, so they could get reacquainted with you?
Sure. I joined the military in 2003, shortly after President Bush declared war in Iraq. And I served from 2003, and I was medically retired in 2014. Since then, I went back to school and got my degree, and I currently work part-time for a nonprofit organization. And that's about it. I actually haven't worked on this specific issue for a while because it was all dead ends. So I'm glad you contacted me about it again.
Well, hopefully through this, we both learn a little bit about the situation. Your situation had interested me back then, and I thought about it often. And So I'm very much keen to learn what's happened since then. You had a lot of problems back then with your retired pay and with VA compensation, namely that the offset that was supposed to happen between the two wasn't happening. That went on for quite a while. If I recall correctly, you had even set aside that money for a while and tried contacting DFAS and the VA about it. Is that right?
Yeah, when I first started receiving pay, I was getting the concurrent payment, disability and retirement. And when I went through the med board, you know, the lawyer told me that that would not happen because I hadn't served 20 years. So when I started receiving my pay, I immediately just didn't spend any of it. And for about 3 months, I contacted the VA and DFAS off and on to try to figure out what was going on and if I was actually eligible and it was just something I didn't understand or, you know, whatever. And during that time, VA just kept referring me to DFAS, and eventually, DFAS just kept telling me that I was eligible because I was eligible for CRSC. And I didn't understand the difference between CRSC and concurrent payment. So I just assumed that, you know, they knew what they were doing ultimately and that they were right and I was wrong. And about a year and a half later, I started getting paid in January of 2015. And in June or July of the following year, I got a letter telling me that I owed them almost $46,000 and that a payment of $1,200 was due the next month and that I was being charged interest on it.
So you tried contacting DFAS, you tried contacting the VA, and you were told everything was just fine.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah. And you had been saving money, and I'm presuming, based on how others have spoken with me, that eventually life happened, and there was a financial hiccup.
Well, there wasn't really like nothing catastrophic happened, you know what I mean? But before all of this happened, you know, I was declared homeless by the VA and I was put on HUD-VASH and the CWT program. So, you know, I found housing. I didn't have a car, so they gave me a bus pass to get to and from the VA. If you're not, I don't know who's familiar with the CWT, but it's a work therapy program. It's a benefit. So you basically go to work at the local VA. I was put in their like shipping and receiving department, and you get paid minimum wage tax-free because it's a benefit. So that was the only income I had from 2012 until 2014 when I was retired. So after a couple of months of, you know, being told that I was eligible for this and whatever, I decided to buy a car and I bought a home. And so the real catastrophe was when I got the letter telling me that I owed all that money back.
So,
and I did have some savings, but I couldn't give that to them because at the same time the VA had come after me telling me that I owed them about $12,000. So I didn't get paid for like 5 months from the VA, which meant I had zero income. And I lived off of that savings and a credit card until I started getting paid by VA again. So it wasn't like I just blew all this money and didn't have any to give back. It was either I'm going to lose my home and my car and everything, or I just have to make these payments.
So you had spent the savings you had just to survive. You had received these debt letters from both DFAS and the VA. I presume you're in a panic at
Oh
this
yeah.
point.
Yeah, the first thing I did was go to my therapist at the local VA. It was just a really bad situation, but.
All right, so I'm a bit hazy on the facts here. It's been a while since we talked, at least 2 years. I think you were applying for combat-related special compensation when we spoke last time.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And how did that work out for you?
So after I got the letters,
first of all, do I have my timeline right? Were you doing that when we spoke, or did you do that after?
Yeah, no, I was doing it when you and I spoke, I believe, because I had gotten the letters obviously a couple months before I contacted you. And during that time, I was applying for CRSC and I was reaching out to anybody that may have any information to help me. And you were one of those people. I mean, I contacted, IAVA, Wounded Warrior Project, every state and local representative, every member of the Veterans Congressional Committee, and just nothing. And there was, I forget how I figured it out, but somebody had finally explained to me that to get CRSC, actually it was a DFAS lady, I called her about the debt. And finally somebody was able to explain to me the difference in how I get CRSC. So I ended up having to fill out an application and send it directly to the Army. And fortunately, that was a pretty painless process. I was awarded CRSC, and currently that is being garnished for the repayment of the debt from DFAS.
Okay, so CRSC is being garnished to cover your DFAS debt. If you don't mind telling me, how much is that debt?
I currently owe $35,000.
And how much is being garnished from CRSC right now?
I think it's $50 a month. It might be a little bit more than that. I haven't checked my my pay in a little bit, but I think I normally get like $308 on CRSC, and I'm getting like about $288 a month. So
basically, it's going to take the rest of your life to pay
and
back.
then some, probably.
To pay back the debt.
Yeah.
That's stunning, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
Before we spoke, I gave you some advice. I'm not going to repeat it for all because it's confidential. But let's just say that's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
That so little is being garnished. I'm amazed that DFAS would only be taking $50 for such monumental debt.
Well, before, when I was prepping for this interview, I came across a thing where I think they can only take like 15% of your disposable income or something like that. So that might be why they're taking so little. However,
with retired pay, it's normally 40%.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's just see here. We say 300 times 0.4, that would be 120.
Yeah.
They're nowhere close to that if they're taking 50. Now, if it's 300 times 15, that would be 45. so that's closer to 50.
Yeah. So I might be off about the 308. It might be like 330 or something like that. Maybe it's 328. I'm not sure, but
It might be a different rule for CRSC, so
yeah.
who knows? I'll have to dig into that myself. But,
Yeah, because I don't get, obviously now I don't get retired pay. I'm only getting the VA disability. But you know, when I did file for a hardship, and in there I listed, you know, money coming in and money going out, and I don't really have disposable income. So
but with a debt of this type, there is no hardship waiver, as
yeah,
I'm sure you've learned.
yeah.
Well, you've done a lot of research to try to resolve this issue. You were doing it back then, and I'm sure you've continued to do so since. Can you tell me what you've learned since you started that research project?
I learned that DFAS is insulated from any outside source. Lawyers will not help. I tried to get civilian lawyers. I tried to get a VA appointed lawyer. There's nobody to hold them accountable, you know, unless, you know, like in 2016, there were some California National Guard members that were being forced to repay bonuses that they received due to errors by DFAS. And somehow they got the attention of Congress, and Congress voided all those debts. So short of that happening here, for me or anybody else that's in my situation, financially, my life is over. You know what I mean? I can't save, like I said, I can't save for my future. So when I'm old and in a VA home, hopefully, that literally is my only option right now is, you know, that. So I'm just in limbo all the way around. You know, I don't know.
Well, having visited several VA homes, I would not wish that upon you. So I hope that's not in the future.
Yeah, same.
I would wish better for you. Well, after our last conversation, you sent me an email saying you had spoken with a lawyer at your senator's office about your problem.
Yeah.
From the wording of your message, it sounded like they were very much interested in how many people were affected by it. Did you ever get any sort of action from them?
No, I realized that they were just trying to cover their own asses legally. Like, so I had informed, at the time I was dealing with Amanda Toth at Senator Casey's office in Scranton, PA. And I told him that if I couldn't get a meeting with Senator Casey, like an in-person meeting, that I was going to start going to local news outlets. And that's when the lawyer contacted me and requested information about similar cases and, you know, whatnot. And after I sent them the information that I had, Amanda had contacted me again and just told me that I needed to request an in-person meeting through the DC website for Senator Casey, which I had already done multiple times. So I can't even sit down with one of my representatives to explain, you know, and it's so complex that you can't just, even if I email somebody, I doubt they would even finish reading the email, you know, because there's so much to it.
I have problems explaining this, you know, in a few minutes in a YouTube video. So how do you explain this to a politician?
Yeah, that you can't even sit down with. Like, yeah. You know, I don't even know if they're getting my messages. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just
normally
you know,
not. Normally it's just that.
Yeah, it's just information control. So I don't know.
Wow. Well, what other events have taken place since we last spoke? Has your situation gotten better, gotten worse? You know, what's happened with you in the last 2 years?
Well, when they when DFAS and the VA stopped paying me, like I said, I had my savings, which wasn't much. I think I might have saved a couple $1,000s. So it was enough to pay my bills throughout the whole ordeal, but not enough for like groceries and things like that. So I decided to go back to school because I still had GI benefits. And, that included, I forget what it's called, the subsistence pay or something? What's the?
Housing allowance.
Yeah, yes. So that helped. And I graduated in 2019, and I've just been working for a nonprofit. So that's pretty much it. I mean, not a lot has changed. Yeah, I'm slightly better. I mean, I'm still dealing with the PTSD issues, which make things difficult. And, I'm still in therapy and everything. But my job, it's part-time and most of it can be done from home. So I'm thankful for that because, it allows me to maintain some type of employment. But, it doesn't inflame my symptoms. So.
One question that I skipped over accidentally. At the end of our last chat, we had a call for action for people to contact you if they had similar problems. Did you ever hear from people after that last video went live?
I did not. I heard from one person who stated that they were denied CRSC, and I don't think they understood what it was, because that individual also said that he was not a combat veteran. So I just, I informed him that in order to get it, you have to be a combat veteran, and that was it. I've never received an email from anybody else.
The definition of, if you read the application for CRSC, direct combat is only one of the qualifications.
Well, he said that he wasn't deployed.
Use of combat-related military equipment,
Okay.
and there's a third.
Would you have to be deployed though?
No.
Oh, okay. I did not know that, because that's what I said. He just said he's never been deployed, so I.
No. Let me pull it up because I'm blanking.
Maybe I should. All right. Maybe I'll forward that email to you because.
Yeah, do that. Forward it to me. I'm blanking
Okay.
on the third one. Let me pull it up real quick.
Okay.
Direct combat. Here we go. Simulated war. So that would be training environment, training exercises.
Oh, okay.
So you could actually be in an FTX.
All right.
And
well, that's good information to know.
Yeah, so you could receive an injury. In fact, here we go. Tactical exercises, airborne operations, live fire exercises, things of that nature.
Yeah.
You could have injuries from those sources, and those could be considered combat related. Hazardous service, like a paratrooper or EOD, combat diver.
Yeah.
Instrumentality of war, so if you're injured in a military vehicle,
Yeah.
that would be considered combat related. Now, if you twist your ankle doing PT, that would not be combat related. In fact, it says specifically on here, let's see, where was it? That was right here. Physical training activities such as calisthenics, are not included. So,
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people have tried that. But yeah, right on the application, it's got a whole page of things that qualify. And direct combat is only one of them.
Well, that's good information to have.
Yeah, so if you've still got that email, forward it on to me.
Yeah, I will, absolutely.
All right, so that was part one of the interview. I hope that was enjoyable for you and informative. please come back for part 2 and we'll dive into this topic a little bit more. Also, there are other people out there who can learn from this, so be sure to spread this information around so that other people can fill their heads with this type of information and either learn from it, learn how not to be like this, learn how, if they are like this, how to at least improve their situation, whatever is best for them. But the reason I put this information out is so people can improve themselves and hopefully not, much as it's as horrible as it might sound, not be like the poor souls that show up on these videos. So we want people to be better because of the videos here, not worse. So please spread this information around. And remember to please come back next time for episode 2 or part 2 so you can see what goes on next. Please remember that if you wish to support my efforts here on whatever format you're listening to, be it YouTube or podcast or whatever medium it might be, you can go to patreon.com/rcretirement and support me at whatever amount you wish per month. There are several that are already built, but you can choose any amount you but you can choose any amount you wish, and I would be greatly appreciative in that regard. And also remember that if you choose $25 or more per month and also choose to contract me for any personal services like combat related special compensation or any other services on my fees for service page, you'll get a substantial 20% discount. So to keep that in mind as well. Alright everyone, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending your time with me. And until next time, thank you for your service. Have a great day.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then please have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, or financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.